Honourable Nanaya Mahuta.
Mr Chair, I'm pleased to speak to part 2 of this bill, and having listened to the former contributions, I actually think the member for Te Tai Tokerau got it just about right when he was highlighting where Māori opinion is with regards to this Takutai Moana bill, and he wrapped it up in 8 succinct words. This isn't what we marched for in 2004, because those then aspirants and candidates for the Māori Party went out across the country to promote exactly what was wrong with the 2004 legislation in many forums. And can I raise, with regards to part 2 of the bill, specifically clause 11(2), when the concept of public domain was initially raised by Labour, Māori didn't like it, National didn't like it, so it went. When the issue of Crown ownership was raised, Māori didn't like it, yet all of a sudden the Māori Party are going out and promoting common space as if for some great glorious reason or miracle Māori have all of a sudden changed their mind. No, I think actually the member for Te Tai Tokerau has got it right. They didn't like it then, they don't like it now, yet the Māori Party have changed its stripes. They have changed their stripes. And one thing we can always accuse the member for Te Tai Tokerau of on this particular issue is he is absolutely telling the truth in terms of where the Māori Party is at. They are finding it difficult to promote an act that they know in their heart of hearts Māori do not want, and there are concepts inherently wrong in this particular piece of legislation that people didn't like then and they don't like now. And they should vote against it if they are true to their word about having the moral mandate to represent the opinion of Māori in this House, because they campaigned long and hard in 2004 on the principles that they are now changing their stripes on, and I think that that is inherently wrong. But when we come to clause 2, because I think there are specific issues that we should be debating with regards to the bill, it says here, neither the Crown nor any other person owns or is capable of owning the common marine and coastal area as in existence from time to time after the commencement of this part. And I want to ask the Minister a question on this part. With relation to his negotiations with the Māori Party, what was it, in fact, that he was able to convince them of that was so much better than Crown ownership? Because every submission, certainly in the brief that we've had from officials, highlight. That member wants to know where Tainui stands. Tainui stands where it's always stood, and it will preserve its interests on much of the coastal area through the treaty claim settlement process. That was the case in 2004. That is the case now. I will debate that any time, anywhere with that member in my electorate. Mr Speaker, can I go back, though, to clause 11(2), because I do want to ask the Minister a question with regards to the way in which he was able to convince the Māori Party why common space was so beneficial to the interests of Māori when they assert their customary title interests. Because in my reading of the bill, and I stand to be corrected if the Minister will take a call, is that any customary title is secondary to the issues or the interests represented in the common space. For example, no submission highlighted that they were comfortable with the idea of common title. They in fact highlighted that it's largely symbolic, and the fact that the Crown retains much of its authority over that space clearly highlights that customary title will be secondary to the intention of this particular Act. So I would be grateful if the Minister does take a call on this, because the submissions highlighted those matters. There wasn't enough time in the Select Committee to go through these matters in some detail with officials. I think that's the height of arrogance when submissions raise matters that are not responded to in the fullness of time, to be able to ensure a full and lengthy and thorough debate. Now, that member may call from across the House to try and shout me down, but that same member will not debate these issues in my electorate, which I challenge him to any time, any place, anywhere. You be there, because I know I will be. The other thing I want to highlight with regards to this particular... It would. It certainly would, but that's not going to happen. Mr Chair.
Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Having not been able to complete my speech because of Mr Quinn, I want to just highlight some of the issues around the points made by Local Government New Zealand. And I'll cut straight to the questions because I think they hit at the nub of undertakings around divestment in clause 11.3. And I want to ask the Minister this: what guarantee will the Minister give to local authorities that land in the Takutai Moana area acquired after 2004 will be compensated for? How will that compensation level be set? Because my understanding in clause 11.5, the Takutai Moana area is not rateable area, so how will they compensate? How will they set the level of compensation? And I think when we have an opportunity for the Minister to respond on this particular matter, there will be certainly Local Government New Zealand and a couple of local councils quite interested in your response, Minister, to that matter. Also the issue of unformed roads in the coastal marine area. What happens to those roads? Will they be included in terms of the divestment provisions of this clause or not? And if he could provide some clarity around that. I know it's a vexed issue for a number of local authorities in terms of the way that they treat their unformed legal roads. I would appreciate a call from the Minister on this. I know that submissions raise this as an issue, and it would be helpful to get that clarification to provide a level of certainty to Local Government New Zealand on the matters they highlighted in the bill. Mr Speaker, can I just continue to say that one of the things that I find absolutely incredible is that the changing of stripes of the Māori Party on the issue of common space. It's the one key point that I want to make in my first contribution to this debate, that at the time when the issue of public domain was raised initially, aspirants of the Māori Party, they were then aspirants, were absolutely opposed to that concept. They were absolutely opposed to that concept. On Crown ownership, they were absolutely opposed to that concept, but somehow or another, somebody said something to them to say that common space is a far greater benefit to Māori than anything else. They should stand in this House and explain their position to at least the members of this House, because they're all well and good to hold hui outside of this place and try and promote something that everybody's saying, well, hang on, you change your stripes, but they are unable to present to the House as a coalition partner to the government the principal basis on which they are now supporting the idea of common space contained in clause 11.2 of part 2 of the bill. They will not explain it to members of this House. I think they are treating members with disregard and disrespect, and it's the height of arrogance on a bill so important to the nation of New Zealand, that is so important in terms of ensuring, well, we hoped that there would be a common opportunity for members across the House to find some common ground, but clearly there is not yet. The government will continue to ram this bill through. So, Minister, you have those questions there on the record. I do hope that in the course of this debate you are able to respond to those questions. To the Māori Party, it is beholden on you, I believe, to respond, having the moral weight of Māori opinion on your shoulders, to demonstrate that you are true to your word, that you will walk your talk, and that you will make good on the commitments that you say are being supported by a number of Māori throughout the country, when clearly the member for Te Tai Tokerau, I think, has got it just about right. Everybody's been duped by the Māori Party.